Hello and welcome to Tribune Sports Live, brought to you by Paul Davis Restoration. I'm Zach Steele along with Damien Mitchell. And Damien, week one is in the books, but not a great week for the Tribune area.
It was not, but I mean, football's back. The 2018 football season felt like Christmas Day all weekend. It was a hot one, but no, the teams didn't fare as well, but we did get at least one win out of it.
We did get Chalkville gets a big win on the road in the Cam Newton Classic over in Atlanta. Hewitt Stratford played well at times, but struggled a bit in their first ball game. And Penson Valley ran into a buzzsaw against Hoover.
They did. Hoover, I mean, they're a machine over there. And Penson, I mean, coming back from a 6A state championship and Hoover being the 7A state champions, you can actually see the level of competition that is different from 6A to 7A.
And let's not forget Springville. They lost their opener in overtime last Thursday night. They're still rebuilding, trying to get a little bit better.
They are. And the thing about Springville, the kids kept fighting. You can tell that it was a terrible way to lose, but they didn't give up the whole way through.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that Hewitt Stratford football game to open the season. We'll be back in just a moment.
Trustful Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trustful Vision Care.
Paul Davis Emergency Services of Northeast Birmingham helps by providing needed cleanup and restoration services. Through the appropriate tools and processes, we avoid wasting valuable time to get your property to its previous state as quickly as we possibly can.
One more time.
All right, welcome back. And Damien, Hewitt Stratford opened their season on ESPN, the mothership, taking on Cedar Grove earlier this weekend. And they played well at times, but struggled a little bit, especially on defense and in special teams.
And that's the key about Hewitt Stratford. The big thing is the offense was going to score points. We knew that coming in. And the big question was going to be on the defensive side of the ball and on the special teams. And Hewitt Stratford kind of was very lackadaisical on some things, and a blocked field goal here and a missed extra point, and defensive struggles really came into play, and it showed on the final score. And
Coach Floyd was talking about how they dominated in the statistics column, but they couldn't score when they got in the red zone. They struggled a little bit there, and that was the difference in the ball game, really.
It was. When you have guys like Zaylen Worsham and Javarius Johnson, who both gave you 100 yards receiving, and Paul Tyson threw for over 400 yards, you should expect to have a high number of plays, a good number of plays that go in your direction. But the thing was, it was those moments where the field goal team was going out, the punt team was going out, and punts blocked, field goal missed, and that gave Cedar Grove the opportunity they needed, and they took advantage of it.
Well, one of the things they really took advantage of was the kickoff return game. I mean, the field position was huge in this ball game. Cedar Grove starting from the 50-yard line almost every drive, and that's a big difference, especially working with a short field, and then your offense has got to come and drive the ball the length of the field in that heat. So wasn't a great day for the Huskies on special teams, but we expect to see improvement there.
Oh, without a doubt. It was week one, and they're going to have to get their stuff together before they play West Forsyth next week.
All right. They will play on the road against West Forsyth, hard to say, over in Georgia next week. When we come back, we're going to talk about Chalkville and their big victory on the road at the Cam Newton Classic, I think is what it's called. We'll be back.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.
Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trustville's funeral home and cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
All right, welcome back. And Damien Clay Chalkville goes over to Atlanta. They take on Griffin, Georgia in the Cam Newton Classic, and they played well. Willie Miller had a nice ball game for them. They get a big first win.
That is the motivation they needed to go into the 2018 season, coming off of 2017, 11-win season, and getting beat in the semifinals by their crosstown rival and the eventual 6A champions, Penson Valley Indians. I mean, what more can you say? Willie Miller, he has the tools to lead Clay Chalkville to a very, very impressive run toward the 2018 season. And I believe that this weekend was just the scratching of the surface for him.
Let's talk about Willie Miller a little bit. Around here, and it seems like everywhere, you hear about Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. You hear about Paul Tyson. Does Willie Miller go around with a chip on his shoulder? Does he use that as motivation?
He does. Willie Miller is one of the best athletes in our coverage area, not just on the football field. He's also a great person off the field. Willie is a proven leader, 3-year starter at Clay Chalkville, and he has seen this program go from the ground up. He was a freshman on the team that won the state championship, and now here he is taking over the reins as a leading quarterback. And what separates Willie from Paul and Bo is that Willie knows he can run, but he chooses to make the plays down the field as a passer. If the play breaks down, he's going to keep his eyes downfield, but if he needs to take off, he will.
Sounds a little bit like a Clay Chalkville quarterback we heard of before named Ty Pigram. We did a really good job of that for Clay and was a dominant quarterback and led his team to great things. So Clay jumps out 28-6, and they pretty much they used ball control, kept their defense off the field, and really dominated that ball game.
And that's what it takes. As you can see, they have playmakers all over the field. And when Jalen Mack is as a safety, he plays safety corner. He's coming down. I mean, he has laid some bone-crushing hits over his time. And I know that Drew Gilmer over there, he is excited about this team, and I believe the Cougars will have a nice 2018 season.
And they're flying a little bit under the radar, too.
That's true.
A dangerous place for them to be, as we've seen by history. They're on the road next week when they take on James Clemens. James Clemens got drubbed pretty good by Thompson this past week, so Clay may be starting off the year 2-0. When we come back, we're going to talk about Penson Valley and the buzzsaw they ran into against Hoover.
Have you been to Discount Warehouse lately? New electronics, brand name makeup, and bedding arrive daily. Follow their Facebook page to find out about special sales on clothing, tools, and fireworks. Discount Warehouse, where you will never pay retail price. For every step of the home buying process, turn to Laura Cardwell Dennis with Keller Williams Trustville and Tanya Golden with First Bank Mortgage, located in the new Keller Williams office in downtown Trustville. They work together to ensure a pleasant home buying experience because their special interest is you.
All right, welcome back. And Damien Penson Valley goes over to Hoover to play on ESPN, the opening game of that doubleheader. Penson showed up the 6A state champions, and they took on the 7A state champions, and they got a lesson in humility.
That is true. Hoover was not playing with Penson Valley Saturday. If you would have told me that 52-14 was going to be the final score, I wouldn't have believed you, because I would have put at least some of my chips on the table for Bo Nix, because he is a playmaker, and he ran into something that he probably had never seen before, and Hoover definitely dominated.
Well, and one of the things about Bo Nix, you talk so much about him, but one of the things he's missing, he lost a lot of receivers off of last year's state championship team, so they got to gel a little bit, and we expect them to be a lot better. They didn't play well. They had a disastrous second quarter, gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown, fumbled in their own territory, and by halftime it was out of reach.
That is true. And what Patrick Nix talked about after the game, he was like, Hoover, they were like the measuring stick. They wanted to see if they could compete with some of the top names in the state of Alabama. And, the score didn't go as well, but I do believe that from here on out that you will see a different Penson Valley offense and defense.
And they're going to be playing, Hoover's up here and everybody else is down here. There's a huge talent gap between Hoover and everyone else, as we see. And it's not just, you've got a couple of 4 and 5 stars that are going to go play in the SEC. I mean, even their kids that are a little bit lower than that. They're in their interior line and everywhere. They're the guys that do all the grunt work. They're still top shelf players.
Right, and I mean Bo can't do it by himself, and that was proven in the game. We had a big game from Keontae Johnson though, 15 receptions. I mean he played the slot receiver, and Jay Sharp as well as the tailback. He brought up a bright spot for what seemed like a dim day for the Penson Valley offense.
Well, I'm looking at Penson Valley. They're going to be right there at the end. I feel like 2 teams in our area are going to be right there at the end, Penson and Clay. So they're at home next week, Penson Valley against Ramsey, a game they probably should win. Although Ramsey's won a state championship here recently too, so that should be an interesting ball game. When we come back, we're going to talk about Springville and their overtime loss to Hayden.
Kemp's Kitchen, located in the Trustful Shopping Center near the 459 Highway 11 interchange. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the whole family. And watch for our specials on 50-cent wings.
All right, welcome back. And Damien, Springville opened their season at Hayden. Springville had a pretty rough year last year. They come in against Hayden and they compete. They lose a heartbreaker in overtime. Yeah,
the Springville game, the guys, they kept fighting. That's one thing that I will say about the Springville Tigers. They do not quit. They had every reason to. They did start off a little sluggish with Hayden. It was like 2 heavyweight fighters just trying to fill each other out, and it went all the way down to the overtime period. But one thing I will say, Austin Hutchinson, he is a proven leader for the Springville Tigers. And as a quarterback, you're looked to as that guy to keep everybody composed and be the face of the team. The team is young. They really were last year, and they've grown. And I think that the bumps and bruises that they took this past week are going to make them better from this point on.
Hutchinson, you mentioned him. He had a little bit of a rough outing. He was 6 for 19, a couple of touchdowns, a couple of interceptions. We expect better things from him down the road.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's like I said, it's week 1. So everybody's trying to, they're just happy to be out there. They're happy to, beat up on somebody else other than their own team. But for Springville, the biggest thing is more mental than it is physical. Because there were times when guys were open and Austin may have missed them, or he may have waited too late. And there was also one play where the guy was wide open. He dropped the pass, and they could never really recover from that. And the way that they lost was just, it was heartbreaking to see.
Absolutely. Well, they're on the road again next week against Asheville, a game they probably should win or at least be competitive in. So we wish them the best of luck. When we come back, we're going to have predictions on all the games for next week. We'll be back in just a moment.
This week's most valuable player, presented by Ortho Alabama Spine and Sport, is Hewitt Stratford quarterback Paul Tyson. Tyson passed for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in their game against Cedar Grove. Congratulations to Paul, and thank you to Ortho Alabama Spine and Sport for sponsoring the Most Valuable Player Award. Congratulations to Anna Fagan of Hewitt Stratford Volleyball for this week's selection for the Beds Express Scholar Athlete of the Week. Congratulations on academic and athletic success, and thanks to Beds Express for supporting our student athletes in our area.
Welcome back, and a special thanks to Paul Davis Restoration of Birmingham. Check them out if you ever have any trouble. Hope you don't have any trouble with leaks and those kind of things, but if you do, call Paul Davis Restoration of Birmingham. All right, prediction time. So we'll start with Hewitt. They're on the road going to Georgia to take on West Forsyth, a team that made the playoffs, I think the second round of the playoffs last year in Georgia. Your thoughts on this one?
I believe Hewitt's going to come out, and Josh Floyd's going to do a great job with those guys this week, and they're going to get their minds right, and I believe they're going to go out to West Forsyth and probably win. May not be convincingly, but I do think a win for Hewitt Trustful will happen this week.
Well, I like Hewitt Trustful in this one too. I think they've got a lot of bugs to work out, especially on the defensive side of the football. I think they had some alignment issues that hurt them Saturday. I do like them to win the game, but I think it's going to be relatively high scoring again. All right, Clay on the road at Clemens. Clay looking good and a big chance to start 2-0.
I think the momentum is going to keep them rolling. I believe that they will go 2-0 against James Clemens. Yeah, they might be a bigger school, but I think Clay Chalkville has the pieces in place that it shouldn't be much of a competition.
So Clemens lost last week. They lost 38-7 to Thompson. I think the score is going to be something very similar this week. I think Clay rolls again, a big win for them on the road against a 7A school. So I like Clay in this one. All right, Springville on the road at Asheville.
I do believe Springville will turn this around. I think this is one of the key games that they might need to give them like a refresher going to the later weeks in the 2018 season. So I expect Springville to come out, play well, and actually win the game.
I like Springville in this one too. Very close. It's going to be in nip and tuck to the end. I think Hutchinson makes a couple of plays, and Springville comes out with their first win of the year. So, all right. So Penson's home against Ramsey. Your thoughts on Penson and this one bouncing back?
Penson's going to get that breath of fresh air. They're back at home. The first home game, they just laid down the new turf, so this is going to have to break it in. I believe that Penson will bounce back and go 1-1. I believe they'll beat Ramsey this week.
I like Penson in this one big. I think they're going to. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to put 50 up on Ramsey. They're going to get some stuff straightened out, and they're going to come out and prove that they can score points, and I think they will score points.
Indeed.
All right, well, that's our show for this week. Tune in next week, and we'll have more recaps and more predictions for you. For Damien Mitchell, I'm Zach Steele. So long, everybody.